Okay, dog kit assembly. So I've got my pieces here. Legs, arms, tail, ears, spot, nose, scarf, and then head and body. If you aren't sure, the head is the rounder, shorter one, and the body is the thinner, longer one. And stuffing, and then our pieces. I say this every time, but assembly is my least favorite part. I don't think that I'm very good at it, and I'm sure that there are people who can do this much better or more efficiently, but we're just gonna go ahead. So we're gonna start with the head. Okay, so here we go. We got our head. This is the body for comparison. We got our spot. And we got our eyes. First I'm going to smooth this out a little because it's kind of an abrupt drop off. And I want to try to make it a little less abrupt. So I'm just pulling this loop out somewhat messily. And then, okay. So, I'm just gonna, I guess, I did a slip stitch there. I guess I'll do another one here. And that smoothed that out a little bit for us, just made it a little less abrupt. And then I'll probably take this and just sort of pass it through here to the back and pull to even it out a little more. So we are going to attach the spot to the head using one of the eyes. And it says that the eye should line up between rounds 10 and 11. The eyes go on, so there's the eye. They go on with this piece facing in like this. That's how they go on. So it says to count down from the top to round 6. So we're just gonna count on down. So we'll say this inside is 1. Then this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so here's 6, this row right here. And we want to align the top of this with round 6. And then we also want the eye to go through between rounds 10 and 11. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we want the eye to go in like in between this row. So we're going to try to accomplish both of those things. So I think for right this second, I'm going to grab my needle, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and I'm going to stab it through rows 10 and 11. Like so. And then take this and align it with row 6, 2, 4, 6. basically, we want this centerpiece to line up on top of here. So that looks decent. If I hold this here, 2, 4. So we're covering row 6 right now. And it looks like this center. So I'm going to take this out, stab that through the center. And now I'm going to count down. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. So, this should be lined up properly. So I'm going to take this out, take my eye, and I'm holding the other side with my thumb pretty firmly. And I'm just going to press and a little bit turn sometimes because I think that might help it go in a little better. And I have my thumb feeling the other end to try to keep it from catching threads from the other side. And now I'm bringing it over to the opening at the bottom of the neck and just really pressing it on. Okay. Like so. And now 4, 5, yeah, looks like we're still, and if we look, we are between 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so we're where we want to be. That looks maybe a little off center, maybe a little further. It looks like we got some overlap. And that, oh, their eye isn't through the center of the spot. No wonder. It didn't specify, so I just kind of assumed. What's stupid is I already kind of redid this once because I was doing it and it didn't make any sense. So I took the eyes out once already, unsewed the patch, literally started over, and I still didn't realize that that's the center right there. I just wasn't paying good enough attention, I guess. So yeah, I think that's 1, 2, and then I between 2 and 3. And so we want to be in this row, in this level, basically. So I guess we'll go in here. Like here-ish. No, come back. Assembly really is not the part that I feel I am good at. Okay, 1, 2. I think we basically want to be going in right here. So I'll just press there. Hopefully this eye still clasps and functions. Okay, so the whole point of safety eyes is so that little babies can't pull them out. And I replaced mine that came with the kit with some that I had that look like this because I had to take mine out. You're not supposed to take them out once you put them in, but I took them out twice because my allergies have been fussy and my head has not been one straight. So I have been struggling with this assembly a bit, but they wouldn't click in, they wouldn't stay in. And that's not safe for little babies and or small children and or whatever. So mine are replaced. They're the same size or extremely nearly the same size. And now we can continue with the nose. Okay, so I finished sewing around and then was checking again to see when to stuff the head. And it actually never says when to stuff the head. It doesn't mention it at all. And so I just went ahead and stuffed it so that I could get, because I was complaining the whole time that I couldn't tell well about the nose with the head not being stuffed. So I went ahead and stuffed it. I stuffed it pretty firmly. So here's my nose. It is not perfect, but I think it's okay. I want to try to fix how this dips in here. And if I can do that, I think that I might be okay with this nose like this. So, okay. I have been messing with this nose for a while, trying to get it right. And it's driving me crazy. Because you can see that the way it's attached, it gets smaller as it goes towards the head. But they don't decrease, and so I'm just trying to do this with sewing, and it just keeps, it's lumpy and it doesn't look nice and smooth, because this, if you look at this, okay, and if I just lay the nose on as is, this is like how much space it takes up, obviously, you know. So, and I've been muttering to myself, why didn't they just do a decrease row and make it smaller and then sew it on? So I'm going to try that. And I'll have to add more yarn to my tail, which is fine. But I am going to do a decrease all the way around. So decrease, stitch marker, and I'm gonna continue decreasing all the way around. And then see what it looks like and see if we think that's a good place to start sewing, because this is driving me crazy. If I have to add more yarn, which I probably will, I'll just do it like I've done with the color changes and everything like that. But I'm gonna decrease in every stitch around, and then I'll be back. Okay, so decrease row, slip stitch, and right, like, more reasonable to me. Also much easier to see placement. So I'm gonna do this because I must have redone it 4 times, I don't know, and it was not working out. So I'm gonna try to get this lined up. I'll trim this because I think that's small enough, and trim my tail for sewing, and start getting this sewed on. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sort of 8, 7.5 stitches there. We'll call this 8, I guess. And then we have 2 rows. So we'll say that's kind of 10 stitches in between there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we kind of want it, the center of the nose, to be lined up kind of here, I guess. That doesn't seem like that can possibly be right, but so if we want the center of the nose lined up kind of here, and we want to be about 2 rows underneath that eye, like a row and a half, 2 rows. So we kind of want to be about here, which already looks better than anything I've attempted thus far. And if my tail is over here, that means my first stitch is going to be to the side. So let's see, if this is like basically the center of my nose, that first stitch is just going to be kind of a stitch to the left. Come back. Kind of like that. Okay. Okay, so I've counted the stitches from the sides. Counting each of these rows as a stitch, and then this in here is a stitch. Like this is sort of half a stitch. Anyway, and I think I have about 10. And so this is like my halfway point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it's not perfect, but... And then I've taken this and tried to find what I thought was like the center of the nose, basically, and marked that. And line those up. And then I basically need to start sewing, looks like right here. That's what I'm trying to determine. And then once I determine that, I will take my needle and place my needle there. Oh, no, lay how you just were. Okay. Okay, this is finicky work. Let's see. Looks like I'd be going in about right here. So I'm going to insert my needle under there so I don't lose that spot. And then thread this on here. Pull this through just to sort of get it in position. Okay. Oh, I should probably stuff this a little because I got to stuff it initially and then finish stuffing it. So got my stuffing here. We'll just toss some in there. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we're lined up okay. So we're going to go ahead and try to finish this stitch. So I'm going to take this and come out here, tighten that down a little. Then I'm going to go under the next stitch. Okay. And we're really trying to keep everything laying where it's supposed to be. And then, let's see. Okay. We are going to go, I'll say under the stitch right here and back out of the same stitch. And I'm going very slowly and carefully because I want to make sure this is lined up and that I'm not going to be putting in a stitch that's going to basically make everything be crooked later. And I'm trying to prevent having to do this again. So now we're going to go under in here. And then, let's see, pick a spot right, oh no, get out of the way. Right here. And then back up. Back up through this stitch. Okay. So I'm only at this point catching the outer edge of this stitch because I'm afraid of pushing it enough to get to that other piece. But I'm trying to catch stitches from underneath, not from like out here, say. So now I'll catch that right there. And I'll get off of there. Okay. So I'm going to continue working around like this. Very carefully. And trying to remember, like, this is going to be tucked in a little, this is going to be tucked in a little. It's not stretched down to where this is flat. I'm trying to keep it balanced so that it'll be sort of evenly tucked around, which hopefully I can accomplish that. So I'm going to keep sewing around this carefully, and then I will be back before I close. Okay, so we're coming around the other side. I still feel like somehow we're crooked, but like we're pretty lined up okay. I think it's just the nose in the center. It's on this swirl, so it's like hard to tell. But anyway, now we are going to, we haven't closed off yet. We're going to stuff a little more before we close off. And see what we think. That looks pretty good. I guess it could use a little bit more stuffing. Not really sure how firmly to stuff this. It's definitely having that gathered in shape toward the bottom now. Okay, so I think with that stuffed the rest of the way, we're gonna finish this up. So in, and then some of these sideways ones, it's really difficult to find the right place to go into because there's nothing right here, which is where I want to go in. And I feel like going in right there might be a mistake. So I'm actually going to see if I can grab the stitch behind there, which I did grab, and then come back out. So in, okay, so I'm just gonna finish this out and I'll be back. Okay, so this was an awful lot of fussing, but here's our nose, and I think that it looks decent. And so we're gonna take these out. I don't know if I'm gonna end up making this its own video or not, because I don't have actual much recorded, like that's actually gonna be in the video, but this was a lot of recordings that I have to sift through. But nose, and there we go. Okay, so our nose isn't perfect, but it's a lot better than it was, and we're gonna go with it. And our goal for this video is to just finish the head. So we want to get the ears on. So we got 2 ears. And the only instruction we have is using yarn tail sew pieces in place. So if this shows the tan ear over the tan eye, obviously you could do whatever you want. You could do like that if you wanted, and I personally might think that's cuter, but maybe we'll just do what we're supposed to do. So the ears also look kind of gathered to me, and so first I'm going to sew these 2 edges together to make it easier to sew it onto the head. So I'm just going to do the same thing for each of these. And I'm going to take my tail and come through the stitch right here, and then just back and forth under the tops of those stitches there, all the way down. This will make it probably a little easier to sew on, because you don't have to worry about making sure you get through both layers. And it does look like theirs is a little bit bunched up, and we can pull on this and bunch it a little when we're done. So just gonna do that down, pull that a little, and do this with both ears. So I like the idea of white over tan instead of tan over white. So I'm gonna do that. And looking at this, it seems to be kind of right before in line with the eye, and there's a little bit of white showing, so we're gonna go sort of here and back to about maybe here is where we'll start sewing. So that's the third, well, after the third, or in between the third and fourth rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and about 2 rounds behind the edge of the eye there. So I'm gonna sew this like laying this way, basically. This is just to save my place, so I'm gonna go in here, slip under a stitch, pull that down, and then lay this across like this. And then I'm gonna come up through here under the bars of those stitches there. And then for the most part, I'm just gonna be, this is the line where the thread that I just pulled through. I'm just gonna go back into that same hole and kind of just scoot over one. And then up through the stitches, and then again back into the same hole. And I'm just gonna do this all the way down. There's a fly that keeps landing on my foot. I don't know why. And see how this looks. I've already placed and taken out the ears a couple of times. Like, I had them a little lower down earlier and I think it was fine, but it didn't look quite right. And then I moved one higher up and it looked like kind of more playful and fun. And so then I thought higher up is better. And now we're kind of curving a little. So this time we're also sort of stepping down because we're crossing rounds as well. Get that through there. And then should be last one, come out right here. And then back up through there. And then fold that down. And I think that's pretty cute and playful. And so to kind of try to keep it on the same line, I'm gonna hold this across here. And oh, stop that. And let's see, we're about 3 rows. We're on kind of the 4th row out. So if we come to this side, I think we're looking maybe around here at the start. See, that would be, I think, too far. Okay, so I think right here. So let me get my other ear. Thread this one, and then we're gonna do the same thing, and hopefully this ear is lined up. Okay, so flip that over, and then same thing on this side basically. Oh, except I want my thread to be coming from here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so except now I'm coming up this way, in, over, whole 9. And we'll see how this looks. Okay, what are you stuck on? Let's see. All right. Oh, okay. So cute. This is always going to throw me off and make me feel like things aren't quite right, but I think that's not bad. Oh, I can see looking up here we're a little crooked, but I'm not sure that we care because that's cute and if I did care, let's see, what would I do? Over? I'm not even sure what I would do. Maybe over one and tighten this a little more before I start sewing. But okay, I think that this is good and that we're gonna go with this. And so we're gonna tie ends down now. I'm not gonna demonstrate each one. But I'm gonna do this for the nose and both ears. So I'm just gonna take my tail here, find somewhere to go under, and do a knot. So go through this loop, tighten down, and then in this case I'll weave this end around a little bit, and then after I weave it a little back and forth, I will actually take it in between the two panels here. So I'm in between now, and just out the end, and then I'll find my scissors. There they are. I'll pull on this a little, trim this. Okay, so I'll do the same thing for this ear, and this one I'll do the same thing, except I'll just take it either through the nose or the head, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here we are. If I hadn't already spent hours on this, I would maybe care about that little line right there. But I did a little short showing like how much I took out of just mistakes, redoing, and that doesn't count the time that I sat here without recording. To sum up, I was putting the eye in the wrong spot for like 40 minutes. And then the nose was driving me crazy, and I tried that for probably like, I don't know, an hour before I decided to just do a decrease row. So I had to replace the safety eyes because I took mine out twice. You're not supposed to take them out, but then they wouldn't secure, and that's not safe. So I had a pair the same size. But anyway, here we are. That's going to be the end of this video. And I'll get started on the next one. It's likely that before the next dog video comes out that I'm gonna have an insert gnome hat video, because that was specially requested, and assembly takes me a while, so I don't want to make that person wait that whole time while I'm trying to figure this assembly out. So I'll probably do that in the in-between, but here we are, and hope this is helpful and that you have a better job doing this than I did. So later.